crying. How old are you? Just pull it together.
I just got off the phone with Kim. I told her to stop antagonizing me with this TikTok thing. I said it's never again. I am her father. I know y'all don't respect fathers and the idea of family, and media tries to promote something.
The conversation around Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, and North West has taken another messy turn, and now people online are digging back through Kanye's old complaints with a completely different perspective. For years, Kanye publicly argued that North was being exposed to fame in the entertainment world too early. At the time, many people dismissed his comments as another celebrity family dispute playing out in public. But as North has become increasingly visible online and around major entertainment figures, those old arguments have started resurfacing, with critics questioning whether enough boundaries are being placed around a child growing up under an enormous spotlight.
Get my daughter full makeup, singing She's in Love with an emo girl on TikTok, and I didn't have no say nor approval. Hey, what do you think? Do you think this would be cool or not? You know what I mean? And I'm the one that made them cool. But then I'm not asked what's cool for my actual children in America. Like, nah, man. Hey, everybody, I just got off the phone with Kim. I told her to stop antagonizing me with this TikTok thing. I said it's never again. I am her father. I know y'all don't respect fathers and the idea of family, and media tries to promote something. I said I am not allowing my daughter to be used by TikTok, to be used by Disney. I have a say-so. And then when people say, oh, they're going to use this for you in court, I didn't have a say-so on whether or not they went to Sierra Canyon. Most men do not. There's no such thing as 50-50 custody with in society today. That's not even, it always leans towards the mom.
What started with relatively ordinary TikTok appearances quickly became a much bigger conversation. North has appeared in videos using music with mature lyrics, while some of her fashion choices, accessories, and public appearances have also attracted intense attention. Online users have debated everything from reports about numerous piercings to outfits they believe look more mature than expected for someone her age. There has even been controversy around requests for money online despite her coming from an extremely wealthy and famous family.
Do you love Jesus? Of course I love Jesus. That's my Lord and Savior. People be thinking I'm dark and stuff, but I'm really not.
None of those things automatically prove Kanye's strongest accusations about Kim, but they have kept his original concern alive. How much exposure is too much when the person at the center of all this attention is still a minor? And that is where the situation gets more uncomfortable. North has increasingly crossed paths with adult influencers, entertainers, and internet personalities, which means ordinary interactions can suddenly become viral moments watched by millions. One particular clip sparked backlash after viewers interpreted North as approaching a European TikToker for a handshake, only for the interaction to turn into a close hug before he then asked for pictures. Some viewers thought her body language suggested discomfort, although a short viral clip cannot tell us exactly what she was thinking or whether permission had been discussed beforehand. Still, the footage raised a bigger question that goes beyond celebrity gossip.
I want some money, but this is...
What? No, we don't ask. No. No.
When a minor is surrounded by adults, cameras, fans, influencers, and people chasing viral moments, who is making sure her personal space stays protected? The internet can turn one awkward interaction into entertainment within minutes, but North is still a young person navigating situations involving adults with far more life experience. That distinction matters, especially when strangers online start treating every appearance, outfit, friendship, or uncomfortable interaction like another episode of a reality show. That is also why Kanye's past criticism is being dragged back into the spotlight.
Oh, who's so demonic? Because definitely not me. I believe in Jesus. I'm strongly Christian, guys. Not wearing a Christian chain. Girl, what? I'll pray for you, queen. Do you love Jesus? Yes, I love Jesus. I love Jesus so much. That's my Lord and Savior.
His public statements have often been controversial and should not automatically be treated as proof that every allegation he has made is accurate. But his broader concern about North being heavily exposed to social media and the entertainment industry is now being debated again. Some people believe Kim is simply allowing her daughter to express herself while growing up in an unusually famous family. Others think the level of public exposure has gone too far and that stronger boundaries around adult spaces, social media, and interactions with influencers are needed. Either way, the most disturbing part of the conversation is how quickly people forget that there is a child at the center of it. The real issue should not be turning North into ammunition in another Kanye versus Kim battle. It should be whether the adults around her are giving her enough privacy, protection, and control over interactions that can instantly be filmed, uploaded, dissected, and judged by millions of strangers.
Hi, y'all. Listen, I had to come in here myself for this one. What in the world is going on? So apparently, Kanye West made a post in the last 24 hours, pretty much, of a list of people that betrayed him. Let's go through this list. So you have Kim Kardashian, I Show Speed, Diddy, Ty Dolla $ign, Harriet Tubman. What did Harriet Tubman do to you? Northwest, your own child, Pusha, Freddie Gibson, Cuddy, Curious George.
And this is where the whole situation started getting even more heated because Kim wasn't visible in that particular viral moment. That immediately had people online asking who was supervising North and what boundaries were actually in place when she was interacting with adult influencers. Since Kim has played a major role in North's public appearances and social media presence, critics quickly pointed the finger at her. Kanye had previously made some extremely serious accusations about how Kim was handling North's exposure to the entertainment industry and adult celebrity spaces. Those claims were never established as fact, so they shouldn't suddenly be treated as proven just because another controversial clip surfaced. Still, people started saying Kanye's broader warnings about North being exposed to fame too young deserved another look. And if you haven't been keeping up with everything surrounding North, this controversy didn't suddenly appear overnight. A lot of the conversation really started gaining traction last year, when North showed off what appeared to be a dermal-style stud on her middle finger, reportedly with Kim's permission. That detail immediately caused a debate online because North is still a minor, and people had very different opinions about whether something like that was appropriate at her age. Some defended it as harmless self-expression, while others questioned why she was being allowed to experiment with choices normally associated with older teens and adults. Then came the Rome appearances, and social media had even more to talk about. North stepped out wearing a dramatic blue wig styled into extremely long pigtails, chunky platform boots, a heart-shaped leather bag, a layered denim mini skirt, and a black corset-style top. The entire look was bold, theatrical, and impossible to miss, which naturally meant pictures spread across social media almost immediately. But instead of the attention staying on the fashion itself, the conversation quickly shifted toward Kim's parenting choices. Critics argued that some elements of the outfit looked unusually mature for North's age, while defenders said people were reading far too much into clothes and turning a kid experimenting with fashion into something it wasn't. That disagreement became another chapter in the much larger fight surrounding North's childhood in the public eye. And that's what makes this situation so complicated. North isn't growing up like an ordinary kid who can test out a wild hairstyle or questionable fashion choice and then forget about it the next week. Every outfit can become a headline. Every accessory can spark thousands of comments. Every interaction can be clipped, reposted, slowed down, and analyzed by complete strangers. So, when Kim gives permission for something that catches attention, people don't just debate the decision itself. They connect it straight back to Kanye's years of public complaints about how much access the internet and entertainment industry should have to his daughter. And that Rome appearance became a major turning point in the backlash. North, who was 12 at the time, stepped out wearing a corset-style top, and the photos immediately had social media arguing over whether the look was appropriate for someone her age. A lot of the criticism landed directly on Kim because, as her parent, people assumed she had approved the outfit. Others pushed back and said the internet was making a young girl's fashion choices into something far bigger and more adult than they needed to be. But the criticism didn't make the conversation disappear. If anything, North's style became even more experimental afterward. She continued playing around with bold clothes, jewelry, and piercing-style accessories. And every new appearance seemed to create another debate about where self-expression ends and parental boundaries should begin. That debate exploded again around Paris Fashion Week. Photos and videos circulated showing North, with what appeared to be multiple facial and hand piercings or piercing-style jewelry, including angel bite-style pieces around her lips, cheek jewelry, a bridge piece above her nose, and dermal-style pieces on her hands. Some reports and social media posts described them as piercings, while other observers questioned whether every piece was permanent. Either way, the look was enough to send the internet into another frenzy. And people weren't exactly quiet about their opinions. One person said, "I feel bad and sorry for her. I think she's better off with Kanye." That comment brought Kanye right back into the argument, with some viewers saying his earlier concerns about North growing up under constant public attention suddenly seemed more relevant. Then another clip from Paris started circulating, and this one shifted the conversation away from clothes and jewelry completely. The footage appeared to show North surrounded by adults while people tried to take photos with her, leading viewers to question whether she was being given enough personal space. One person reacted by saying, "North West is only 13, and grown men are already putting their hands on her shoulder for photos. Fame at such a young age is unsettling. Kim should do better at parenting." That reaction hit on the bigger issue people had been arguing about the entire time. It wasn't simply about whether somebody liked North's outfit or thought a piercing looked appropriate. Critics were questioning what happens when a young teenager becomes so famous that adults regularly approach her for pictures, cameras follow her movements, and millions of strangers feel entitled to debate her appearance. Kim didn't directly jump into the online fight, but North eventually addressed some of the criticism herself, and she clearly wasn't interested in quietly accepting everything strangers were saying about her appearance. North posted on TikTok in response to people calling for Kanye to step in and make her remove the piercing-style jewelry. She also reportedly addressed adults in a live stream comment section who were using extreme language and calling her demonic. Instead of allowing those comments to go unanswered, she pushed back against strangers trying to dictate what she should do with her own appearance. But that created another strange layer to the whole controversy. Adults were now publicly arguing with a minor about her body and appearance, while simultaneously claiming they were worried about how much adult attention she was receiving. And suddenly, what began as criticism of Kim's parenting had turned into thousands of grown strangers analyzing virtually every detail of North's look, her choices, and her reactions online. But there's one detail getting lost. Whenever people demand that Kanye suddenly step in and take control of the situation, he already tried to challenge some of these decisions years ago. The problem is that his fight with Kim wasn't happening privately behind closed doors. Their divorce had become a full-blown public spectacle, with social media posts, interviews, legal battles, and accusations coming from different directions. Kanye clearly believed he wasn't getting enough say over certain decisions involving North, while Kim publicly defended the way she was handling their children. Some critics have since claimed that Kim's wealth, celebrity status, powerful connections, and Kanye's highly publicized mental health struggles gave her an advantage during their disputes. But that's an allegation and interpretation from outsiders, not proof that she manipulated the courts or improperly used her influence. Family court decisions involve legal agreements and evidence that the public usually doesn't get to see in full. Still, perception matters in celebrity drama, and at the time, plenty of people believed Kanye's public behavior made his arguments much easier to dismiss. And back then, the public reaction was very different. Kanye was regularly getting dragged for bringing private parenting disagreements onto Instagram and into interviews. A lot of people viewed Kim as the calmer parent in the situation, while Kanye's complaints were treated as another chapter in their extremely messy breakup. Fast forward to North becoming even more visible online, experimenting with increasingly bold looks and interacting with major figures in entertainment. And suddenly, some of those old conversations are being pulled straight back out of the archives. People who previously thought Kanye was simply being controlling are now asking whether there was at least a legitimate concern buried underneath all the chaos. That doesn't mean every accusation Kanye made was accurate. It means the original argument over how much public exposure North should have never really went away. To understand why this keeps coming back, you have to rewind to 2021, when Kim and Kanye were still caught in the middle of their very public divorce. One of their biggest parenting disagreements involved North having access to TikTok. Kanye made it extremely clear that he wasn't comfortable with his young daughter appearing publicly on the platform. His concern wasn't just TikTok existing on her phone. He objected to North appearing in public videos, experimenting with looks he considered too mature, and lip-syncing to songs containing adult lyrics while she was still very young. From Kanye's perspective, this wasn't harmless social media fun. He believed decisions involving their daughter's public image should require input from both parents. Eventually, Kanye took the disagreement directly to social media and asked his followers, "Since this is my first divorce, I need to know what I should do about my daughter being put on TikTok against my will." That post instantly blew the family dispute wide open. Instead of two parents disagreeing privately about screen time and social media boundaries, millions of strangers were suddenly invited into the argument. People picked sides, headlines started flying, and North's TikTok account became another battlefield in Kim and Kanye's divorce. Kim wasn't about to leave Kanye's accusation unanswered either. She released a lengthy public response, defending herself and criticizing the way Kanye was handling their disagreements. Her statement began, "Kanye's constant attacks on me in interviews and on social media are actually more hurtful than any TikTok North might create." And with that response, the argument became much bigger than one TikTok account. Kim's position was essentially that Kanye's repeated public attacks were creating more damage than the social media content he was criticizing, while Kanye's position centered on his belief that he should have a meaningful say in whether his daughter was being publicly exposed online. Years later, that exact disagreement is being dug back up because people are looking at North's current level of fame and asking whether the warnings surrounding her online exposure were dismissed too quickly. Kim's statement continued, "I am doing my best to protect our daughter, while also allowing her to express her creativity in the medium that she wishes with adult supervision." That was basically the heart of Kim's defense. She argued that North wasn't simply being thrown onto social media with nobody watching her. From Kim's perspective, North was a creative kid being allowed to experiment and express herself while adults were still supervising what was happening. But that explanation didn't shut down the criticism. Once photos of North wearing the corset-style top and mini skirt started circulating, the internet took the conversation somewhere much darker. Some people began spreading an extreme rumor, claiming Kim was intentionally encouraging North to dress older as part of some future plan involving explicit material, with people connecting the accusation to Kim's old private tape with Ray J. There is no credible evidence establishing that claim, and because it involves a minor, it's especially important not to present internet speculation like it's a confirmed plan. But the rumor became part of the online conversation anyway, especially after Kanye posted a series of disturbing accusations of his own. Instead of simply arguing that North's clothing or entertainment appearances were inappropriate, Kanye escalated things dramatically and accused the Kardashian family of exploiting children. In one post, Kanye wrote, "The Kardashians are ex-workers, and they ex-tariff all of the black children they strategically produce. Kim Kardashian is a ex-tarifer. I don't like that Twigs has my daughter in her video dressing all grown. I would have expected more from Twigs. It's F all UNs. My soul is black, and watch y'all don't believe me and just say I'm crazy." The post immediately sparked controversy because Kanye was no longer talking only about TikTok, clothes, or disagreements between two parents. He was making incredibly serious accusations about Kim and the wider Kardashian family without publicly providing evidence that established those claims as fact. And because his comments involved his own children, the situation quickly moved into territory that was much more serious than ordinary celebrity gossip. Then Kanye doubled down with another post, writing, "The grandmother signed for the tape. I am 100% convinced that my children are in an ex-tariffing ring." Again, Kanye saying he was 100% convinced doesn't make that accusation proven. There's a massive difference between a parent genuinely believing something is happening and there being verified evidence that it actually happened. That distinction matters here, especially when allegations this severe involve children and real people who have not been proven to have committed the conduct being alleged. Still, those posts explain why Kanye's earlier concerns and his later accusations often get mixed together online. His objections to North being heavily exposed on TikTok or wearing looks he considered too mature are parenting disagreements people can reasonably debate. His claims about organized exploitation are something completely different and require actual evidence before anyone should repeat them as established truth. And while some viewers now look back and believe Kanye had a stronger point about North's privacy and public exposure than they originally gave him credit for, that doesn't automatically make him the flawless parent in this story either. Kanye has made controversial parenting decisions of his own, and some of them have created exactly the kind of public attention around his children that he previously criticized Kim for encouraging. So if both parents are going to be judged by the same standard, Kanye's choices have to go under the microscope too. But once you start looking closely at Kanye's own choices, the idea that he automatically comes out of this looking like the perfect parent starts falling apart. He can have legitimate concerns about North's privacy and still make questionable decisions himself. Both things can be true at the same time. And one of the biggest contradictions people keep pointing toward is his relationship with Bianca Censori and the extremely provocative public image the two have built together. Bianca has repeatedly made headlines for wearing revealing and unconventional outfits in public. Since North has also spent time around Kanye and Bianca, critics have questioned how Kanye can publicly complain about Kim allowing North to be exposed to mature influences while participating in a lifestyle that regularly creates adult headlines of its own. That doesn't automatically make Bianca a bad stepmother or tell us what her private relationship with North is actually like. But when Kanye's entire argument is about what kind of environment surrounds his daughter, people are naturally going to compare his words with his own behavior. And then there was that infamous boat controversy in Italy. Kanye and Bianca were photographed during a boat ride in Venice, and the images immediately went viral because viewers believed the pair appeared to be engaging in behavior that was far too intimate for a public setting. Bianca was photographed positioned close to Kanye while he appeared partially exposed, and the pictures quickly became an international celebrity story. Some photos were interpreted online in even more explicit ways, but pictures taken from a distance don't establish exactly what happened between them. What is confirmed is that the incident created enough controversy for the boat company involved to publicly distance itself from the couple and reportedly ban them from using its boats again. So regardless of what was actually happening in those specific seconds, the public spectacle became another messy headline attached to Kanye. And that's where critics started calling out what they saw as a serious double standard. Kanye had spent years criticizing Kim over TikTok videos, clothing, adult lyrics, and the type of influences surrounding North. Yet his own relationship was constantly generating highly provocative images and stories in public. If the concern is genuinely about protecting children from mature situations and unwanted attention, people argued that standard has to apply on both sides. But the controversy surrounding Kanye's parenting doesn't stop with Bianca. He has also faced backlash over the way he has spoken publicly about North herself. Reports circulated that Kanye felt hurt or betrayed by certain decisions involving his daughter, and critics immediately questioned why an adult conflict would ever be framed as a young teenager betraying her father. North is still a minor navigating an incredibly complicated family situation, so putting adult expectations or family disputes onto her shoulders would be unfair. Then Kim added another layer to the story by speaking publicly about Kanye's involvement with their children. In a recent interview, she claimed that Kanye had been largely absent for an extended period and suggested that she had been handling much of the day-to-day parenting responsibilities herself. She also claimed there had been a period of roughly 6 months without seeing him. Those are Kim's claims, and they shouldn't be treated as independently proven without Kanye's side or additional confirmation. But they complicate the online narrative that Kanye has been desperately trying to rescue North, while Kim alone is responsible for everything people dislike about her upbringing. Parenting isn't only about posting warnings online or criticizing the other parent's decisions. It also involves consistency, presence, communication, and actually being there for the children. So the situation isn't as simple as picking Team Kanye or Team Kim. Kanye may have raised reasonable questions about social media and North's exposure to fame, but that doesn't erase scrutiny of his own behavior. And Kim defending North's creativity doesn't mean every decision she makes is automatically beyond criticism either. When adults are fighting publicly over what is supposedly best for a child, their own actions become part of that conversation too. And after everything that has happened, you already know the internet had plenty to say. Some people blame Kim, some blame Kanye, and others argued that the real problem is the unbelievable amount of attention being placed on North while she is still growing up. One person summed up their feelings by saying, "Her dad is a total lunatic, and her mom became famous for a tape promoted by her grandmother. What do you guys expect from her? She is pretty normal compared to them." Another person looked at the situation from a completely different angle and said, "There's a sadness in her eyes. It's really, really true. Money can't buy happiness." And that comment opened up an even bigger conversation. From the outside, North has access to a life most people could never imagine. She comes from one of the most famous families in the world, travels to major fashion events, meets huge celebrities, and has basically grown up surrounded by cameras, money, and influence. But none of that tells us how she actually feels behind closed doors. and strangers online can't reliably determine someone's emotional state from a few photos or short clips. That's why this entire situation has become so complicated. There are real questions people can ask about parenting, social media, privacy, age-appropriate boundaries, and how much exposure is healthy for a young celebrity. But there's also a line between discussing those issues and turning every single thing North does into evidence for some massive conspiracy. And when it comes to the darker rumors surrounding Kim, there simply isn't verified evidence proving that she is intentionally preparing North for anything explicit or exploitative. Those are extremely serious accusations, especially because they involve a minor, and internet speculation shouldn't be presented as fact. At the same time, viewers are still free to question whether Kim and Kanye have made the best decisions when it comes to keeping their children away from adult controversies and non-stop public attention. So now, I want to hear what you think about everything we covered. Are people making too much out of North's piercings and fashion choices, or do you think some of the criticism about boundaries is reasonable? Do you think Kanye had a legitimate point when he complained about North being exposed to social media and the entertainment world at such a young age, even though his own behavior has also attracted controversy? And where do you think Kim fits into all of this? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below, because I already know this one is going to have people divided. And if you enjoy keeping up with the biggest celebrity controversies, viral moments, and messy stories everyone is talking about, make sure you like this video, share it with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe to Star Watch for more. Turn on your notifications too, so you don't miss the next story when another celebrity situation starts blowing up. And when you're done leaving your take below, click right here to watch the next messy video on Star Watch.